For more than a century, Coca-Cola and Pepsi have competed for the soft drink market. Every move was made, from product innovation to cunning marketing tactics.
Field Shopping Center.
It's Pepsi.
Oh, it's Pepsi.
Pepsi.
However, they eventually realized that the key to winning is not fighting the opponent, but gaining the hearts of consumers, and that ingenious marketing will only have a brief influence as the world continues to be hotter. The journey of Coca-Cola began in 1886 when John Stith Pemberton, an Atlanta pharmacist, concocted a syrup-based tonic drink. The drink, which claimed to cure a variety of illnesses, was initially sold at Jacob's Pharmacy for 5 cents per glass. To market it, John was helped by Frank Mason Robinson, who embedded the name Coca-Cola and designed the company's distinct logo. They successfully popularized Coca-Cola by promoting it in newspapers and giving out free coupons. Its marketing broadened upon Asa Griggs Candler taking over the Coca-Cola patent and interest in 1888. He unveiled a more aggressive marketing strategy and extended distribution, allowing Coca-Cola to dominate the United States as the 20th century began.
Is that Coca-Cola? Yes, sir. And that's the brand new bottle for Coca.
However, at the time, Coca-Cola was overshadowed by its competitors, because in 1893, Caleb Davis Bradham, a pharmacist in New Bern, North Carolina, made Brad's drink using his ingredients. Bradham subsequently altered the name of his drink to Pepsi-Cola, which was inspired by pepsin, a digestive enzyme that claims to help with the digestion process. In 1903, the Pepsi-Cola trademark was registered, and Pepsi was bottled for widespread distribution. The Cola War began then and has continued for more than a century to the present. The war may be witnessed through numerous creative advertising campaigns, ingenious marketing strategies, and various innovations. They competed with each other and prevailed for the hearts of soda lovers. Charles Godfrey Guth was both intelligent and courageous. He owned Loft Candy Company, which made candy and soft drinks. When the entire world, including America, fell into a slump in 1929, he squandered money by purchasing Pepsi and rescuing it from bankruptcy. Guth subsequently introduced a 12-ounce Pepsi bottle for 5 cents, the same price as a 6-ounce Coca-Cola bottle. However, with Pepsi, consumers could have twice as much cola. Unsurprisingly, Pepsi quickly attracted the attention of people whose purchasing power was dwindling. Guth took the step because he knows that consumers want greater value for in every purchase. It was when the legendary Cola Wars competition heated up. Economical consumers quickly switched to Pepsi, and Pepsi sales surged. Coca-Cola was irritated and embarked on a major print and radio advertising campaign.
Where else but in the fountain where they serve ice-cold Coca-Cola?
They utilized years of consumer loyalty as a weapon to defeat the challenge. Although Pepsi offers more volume, lots of consumers remain loyal to Coca-Cola because they believe in its quality and signature taste. Their rivalry lasted until the mid-1970s, when the battle became increasingly severe. Pepsi, which has usually had a lower market share than Coca-Cola, became more aggressive. In 1975, they campaigned the Pepsi Challenge at numerous malls and public events.
Take the Pepsi Challenge. Let your taste decide.
There was a blind test conducted. People were asked to taste 2 soft drinks without knowing the brand, and then choose which they preferred. Unexpectedly, a large number of participants chose Pepsi. They subsequently turned the test results into advertising content, which had a swift impact.
Let your taste decide.
Pepsi's better.
It made my taste buds feel good.
Plenty of consumers began to try and buy Pepsi, and by the 1980s, Pepsi sales had surpassed Coca-Cola in several marketing regions. For Coca-Cola, these were dismal times, and for the umpteenth time, they had to react. They launched broad campaigns emphasizing the superiority of their products attempting to persuade people that Coca-Cola had its own quality and distinctiveness. They also became inventive by launching Diet Coke in 1982 to appeal to young consumers. These strategies allowed Coca-Cola to remain competitive in the midst of Pepsi-Cola's extremely aggressive attack.
Field Shopping Center.
It's Pepsi.
It's Pepsi.
Tired of being constantly attacked by Pepsi, Coca-Cola responded by making a radical breakthrough in 1985. They altered the composition of their legendary drink based on market research indicating that people preferred a sweeter cola flavor. Finally, on April 23, 1985, Coca-Cola launched New Coke. New Coke launched with a massive advertising campaign. Coca-Cola used this way to demonstrate its willingness to alter and innovate.
This stuff is great.
However, the results were far from expected. The reason for this is that Coca-Cola's loyal consumers are outraged and disappointed since the original taste that they have loved for years has been replaced so abruptly. Then they descended on Coca-Cola's headquarters with letters and phone calls in protest. They also hoisted an anti-New Coke banner, cynically implying that changing the flavor of Coca-Cola was worse than amending the United States Constitution. Pepsi cleverly capitalized on New Coke's failure, promoting the consistency of its flavor and strengthening its image as a brand that always listens to consumers.
Right big, Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
Still could have asked.
The market ultimately sided with Pepsi, resulting in greater sales. The crazy thing is that they celebrated the moment as Pepsi's triumph over Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola then realized they had made a huge mistake. Finally, after 79 days of New Coke, on July 11, 1985, they returned to the previous recipe by producing a product bearing the Coca-Cola Classic name.
The introduction of Coca-Cola Classic ran on the Dow Jones Wire at 3:18 p.m.
The results were marvelous, as the decision was greeted by enthusiastic consumers who were relieved and delighted that their complaints had been heeded. This breakthrough succeeded in restoring consumer loyalty and improving the company's image. Coca-Cola has been available in Canada, Cuba, and Panama since the beginning of the 20th century. Coca-Cola remained popular in Europe after World War II, particularly in France and Germany. Coca-Cola was also successful in Japan, India, and China. Meanwhile, Coca-Cola is a favorite drink throughout Latin America, particularly in Brazil and Mexico. They succeeded because of their ability to adapt to the local market culture. They advertise based on local traditions and introduce flavors based on local preferences, such as green tea in Japan. So, after resolving the New Coke issue, Coca-Cola concentrated on extending its international market, because at the same time, Pepsi was also expanding. Pepsi entered the Soviet Union in 1972, becoming the first soft drink in the land of the Red Bear. In China, they collaborated with a local company. In India, they acquired a local beverage company. Its expansion expanded across the Middle East and Africa. Pepsi's move was not in vain. In certain countries, they were able to rival Coca-Cola. Pepsi was able to take Coca-Cola's market share in Mexico due to creative campaigns, while Pepsi became the top choice in the Philippines due to aggressive marketing strategies. Pepsi did not stop at extending its market. It also ventured into snacks and non-carbonated beverages. Products such as Lay's, Doritos, Gatorade, and the acquisition of Tropicana and Quaker Oats followed. This way, Pepsi can reach a broader range of consumers and decrease its reliance on a single product. This diversification strategy not only strengthens Pepsi's market position, but also reduces business risk by allowing Pepsi to stand on a firmer foundation in the face of market fluctuations. Pepsi could also have greater flexibility when negotiating with retailers since it can offer a wider variety of products. Coca-Cola is opposed to being left behind. Therefore, it is making investments in healthy products such as mineral water under the Dasani brand, organic tea Honest Tea, and coconut water Zico, which is becoming a new favorite. It also launched innovative products such as Coca-Cola Energy and Coca-Cola Plus Coffee to meet the shifting preferences of health-conscious consumers who want Coca-Cola to reduce sugar and calories. The battle between the two also extended to environmental issues. In order to answer the growing trend of consumer concern for the environment, Coca-Cola developed World Without Waste, a recycling program that collects and recycles bottles and cans that they sell. They are also committed to lowering their carbon footprint and restoring 100% of the water they consume to nature. Meanwhile, Pepsi launched a water conservation program and committed to reducing water consumption by 25%. They also adopt sustainable agricultural practices and decrease carbon emissions across their supply chain. Furthermore, they innovate product packaging by incorporating recyclable materials and reducing single-use plastics. If we look at the market share, in accordance with Statista data until 2022, Coca-Cola continues to lead the U.S. soft drink market with 46%, with Pepsi forthcoming in second with 24%. However, according to Forbes data, Pepsi outperforms Coca-Cola in terms of revenue. Pepsi's global revenues in 2018 was $64 billion, compared to Coca-Cola's $31 billion. And as time passes, the revenue difference between the two is getting bigger. Pepsi's revenue can increase since it has more products, which means more sources of income, and its finances can remain steady despite fluctuation in the soft drink market. Meanwhile, Coca-Cola managed to sustain intense consumer loyalty through emotional and memorable marketing campaigns. Campaigns with slogans such as "Share a Coke" and "Taste the Feeling" were able to form an immense sense of emotional bond with consumers. Despite its lower revenue, Coca-Cola has a considerably bigger presence in the hearts of consumers as a symbol of happiness and cherished moments. So, who won the cola wars? Well, it depends on whichever viewpoint we look at it from. If we look at market share, Coca-Cola is certainly superior. However, when it comes to revenue, Pepsi is superior. Regardless, both are successful in creating strong brands while remaining innovative in response to changing consumer needs and preferences. The continuous dispute between these two soft drink brands imparts some vital lessons. First, look into how Pepsi, as the challenger, not only followed Coca-Cola's lead, but also attempted to forge its own path, such as while campaigning for the Pepsi Challenge. They were actually challenging the status quo and changing consumer perceptions of soft drinks. The campaign was more than simply a taste test. It was a cunning marketing move. They capitalized on public perception and stirred discussions. Pepsi is also moving into snacks, expanding its market scope, and mitigating the risk of relying just on one product. Second, when Coca-Cola was caught up in the new Coke case, we witnessed how swiftly they responded to the crisis. When the sweeter new Coke was not acceptable to consumers, they promptly switched to Coca-Cola Classic. This demonstrates the importance of listening to and respecting consumer voices and choices, as it is not just about returning the product, but also about how a company restores trust and respects the desires of consumers. Third, Coca-Cola and Pepsi continue to innovate, such as by altering to growing health trends. They are introducing healthier options, such as diet and zero-calorie variants. They comprehend that adapting to consumer preferences is critical, not only to staying in business, but also to keeping their products relevant in a dynamic marketplace. Ultimately, we learned that when handling business, we need to have the guts to innovate, the swiftness to respond to change, and the capability to listen and capture the desires of the market, all those to be able to win the hearts of the consumers.